So I've already started by removing the carburetor. I'm going to remove the intake manifold, the valve covers, the distributor, and the whole front of the motor. The accessories on the whole front of the motor, so I could take out the camshaft. Now it's a little tricky to do with the car in the engine, but I don't have a condenser and all I have is a radiator to pull out. The radiator is already drained, so it will be relatively easy to remove the camshaft through the front of the grill down here. Once I get the radiator out and all the accessories off and everything off, and the valve covers and the rockers, but that's going a little bit ahead. First thing I want to do is remove the intake manifold. Like I said, I've already got a head start. I pulled all the wires. Like on an old car like this, there's only this right here. That's goes to the coil, the and the distributor, and that's pretty much it. So I already pulled that. I pulled the carburetor, and right now I'm at the part where I'm gonna unbolt the intake manifold. So let me put this camera on the handy dandy tripod. It's a little windy out here today. It's not super warm either. It's not super cold, but not super warm. Alright, the reason for pulling all of this off, even though the engine starts up and runs, which I didn't do a video on that it starts up and runs, is there's two reasons actually. One, when I took this manifold off the last time, I screwed up and the gasket slipped. So I was like, I gotta take the intake off and replace the gasket because it slipped. The engine would run, and one whole side of the engine was getting air sucked in through this side. I'm pretty sure it was this side. I can't remember exactly which side it was. I traced it down last year, but I didn't do anything about it because I was very busy with college and stuff like that. One of the things I noticed is these bolts are not particularly tight. I wonder if that's one of the reasons it slipped, because I didn't tighten these bolts all the way. I also wonder if goo from the sealer from the carburetor got in there. I see RTV sealant. I won't be using that shit anymore. In the intake passage here, I'll just make sure the gasket surface is clean, and then put the gasket itself on and not any of that crap. While I got all this apart, I'm gonna dress the paint up a little bit on this engine. So every time I have it apart, I try to redress the paint. You know, the paint is so comes off so easily if you don't bake it on. All you need to do is spill a couple drops of fuel on an intake manifold, and that paint will just come right off. Seems like every time I do that, the paint comes right off. But I got a little plan of action to prevent that this time. Before I start working, before I put the carburetor on, I'll make sure it's empty. And this fuel line right here, I'll make sure that it's pretty dry, and I'll put a blanket, not a blanket, but like a really thick absorbing cloth around the carburetor if I have to work on it. If I have to work on the carburetor, that is. Looks like that's out of the way. Pull that out of the way. Now I'm not worried about indexing the distributor because I'm going to have the camshaft out anyway, so I could set top dead center like a fresh install motor. I think I forgot to bring my distributor wrench up here. These bolts were tighter than the other bolts. Not entirely sure I actually am going to remove the distributor. I think the last time I just lifted up. I could probably remove the cap and the center cap on the distributor and not remove the whole thing itself and get away with that. I think that's what I did last time. Like I said, I'm going to have the camshaft out anyway, so it's not like I can leave the distributor in when I get to that part. I have to be out. Screwdriver maybe. Yeah, I think that's what I did last time. Like I said, I'll have to take the distributor all the way out anyway. Just bend this up out of the way a little bit. I'm not worried about that too much. Pull that bracket, or pull the cable off of that bracket. Grabbed the wrong one. Either. Accelerator cable. Spark plug wires out of the way. Accelerator cable out of the way. lift on the well, these. That sound you heard was my toolbox rolling down the driveway. Glad I caught it. It's just a little tool cart, but I wouldn't want it to roll away. If I can get under this manifold with this. Alright, it's loose. Guess I had to take this main vacuum line off. Might make it easier. Wish this shift linkage wasn't in the way. God, this thing's a ton. Wow, it's heavy. Jeez. And here it is, one intake gasket. Metal. I'm going to get a closer view of my engine here for you guys. show you how clean it is on the inside still. I think this is just oil. Yeah, it's just oil. A little oil pooling. It's fairly clean, except where all this RTV sealant. I had somebody tell me to use RTV sealant on this gasket. Then I read in something about how that was a bad idea to use. You can see what it does. It goes into the intake. It's really not a good idea to use that crap here. It's not recommended by the manufacturer. I'm gonna have to get a little vacuum in here to suck these out. My intake runners, pretty fairly clean, except for this frickin' RTV crap that's all over the place. But you can see this is very clean on the inside of this engine. Although I have to admit, it's clean only because the engine only has 7,000 miles on it. But I'm gonna take all these push rods out, all those lifters, pull out that camshaft, and I'll do that in another segment. So that way it's not one big long piece. Besides, I'm done for the day now. This weekend I'll probably do more work. Remove this water housing so I could repaint it, clean it, repaint it. The distributor, and like I said, all the accessories. I got a brand new alternator, even though this one's probably okay. I'm going to take it off, put it in a plastic bag with a silicone water absorber pack that you find in most new shit. Oh yeah, I gotta take off that water, this bypass I made for temporary use, and put the actual heater core in. But I did that because I knew I wasn't gonna drive it in the winter or much at all. But now when I do that, I got a new water pump too. I'm gonna put on. They'll all be in the video for pulling off the front here. But I'm gonna put the right camshaft in, and this thing's gonna run like a beast. It's gonna be a beast. It's gonna run great. And we'll do all those videos on all that. We'll get it all in. I'm going to try to clean up this engine compartment a little. It's sat. There's leaves in here and stuff. I'll have to get a leaf blower out, blow all that crap out, and clean, and probably try to paint over some of the rust, make it nice and pretty looking again. Sitting is not what a car was designed to do. Sitting is so bad for a car. They're meant to be driven. It's bad when they just sit. And they rust that way. If I start parking it, it's on a cement slab right now. It was parked in a garage for 7 years, so it probably would be worse if it was sitting outside. So I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna replace the radiator if I can find one. I was trying to find one. I didn't see one listed. I'll replace the radiator. I got the shroud. I'll put that back on. When I was a little bit younger, I took it off because I thought it was a good idea. I now know that it's not a good idea because you don't get all the airflow through the radiator the right way. So it's a lot of stuff I'm gonna do. This is a 20-minute video now, so I think I'll stop here. Plus I'm gonna stop for the day. And I'm not gonna do videos on cleaning and painting or any of that, but I will do tear downs and stuff. Oh yeah, I got the pulley for the air conditioning and the belt. When I assemble it, I'll be hooking that back up. I'll be installing the factory air conditioning back to the way it was, and I'll hopefully not have too much issues with the evaporator that's in there, although I might. And if I do, it'll be a nightmare getting it out of the box and replacing it. But what I could do is try to seal up the main line and just put a vacuum pump on it, see if it holds right now while the engine's going to be torn down a little. And if I can find out if it's going to hold a vacuum or not, then I can replace the evaporator core while there's plenty of room and while I got stuff torn down. But I might not. I mean, you know, I want to get it back on the road. I don't want to delay that. I want to, it's the 7th of March right now. I want to be driving at least at the earliest in 3 weeks, the latest mid-April, but I really want to be driving this car by April because I'm still driving a small truck, and I like driving a truck, you know, and it's not that I want to hurry up to burn through fuel, but I need some more room, and this car is what I've got. It's paid for. I can't afford to go out, run out, buy a car right now, but I can fix this one because I already have parts, and a lot of parts that I have are bought many years ago, and a lot of parts I just purchased. New battery cables, it's 30 bucks, you know, big deal. Need new battery cables. New battery, that's not a big deal either. But anyway, I think that's enough for this video. I'll do the tear down of the rest of the motor in the next segment.